Saturday, December 28th here at the West End Gun Club. I mentioned in my last vlog on Christmas Eve that I didn't know if I was going to come out to shoot, and I think this is the only day that I can probably come out to shoot before New Year's. I wasn't sure if I was going to make it a Desert Marksman, but I wanted to go to Palmdale to shoot some longer range 22, but it snowed in the rain and they closed down the road to the access road to the range, so I'm not going to be able to go out there. And I think it's going to rain maybe Monday of this week, so I can't go out Monday because they always close down the road any little rain. I don't know why. It's probably because they don't want to have to regrade the access road when people run through it and mess up the road. Maybe people get stuck, I don't know, but that range is hard to get to whenever they have any kind of inclement weather with rain of any sort. But I know it did snow there in Palmdale a couple days ago, so yeah, the road's closed. So I'm not going to be able to go out to Palmdale during the holiday break, during my days off from work. But I do go back to work on the 2nd of January. But so I came out today mainly because I wanted to shoot a little bit of 22 to check the targets, because I wanted to verify the January Course of Fire to make sure that we can place targets for each stage and still see them when you're on the range in the various positions. So the Course of Fire was published yesterday. Wait, today's the 28th, right? So 28th, 26th. So it was published the day after Christmas, 26th on Thursday. And so I was looking over that, and it looks like it should be a pretty easy Course of Fire to set up. We need tank trap, the 55-gallon barrel, 5-gallon bucket, 2-gallon bucket, and I think it's the only props. And then the rest are prone stages and position stages. So anyway, I'm just gonna set up the targets that we need to see specifically at 300 or at 100. There's 3 targets at 100 that I'm looking over at the range right now, but 3 targets at 100. And I'm going to verify that we can see those from position, and then I'll figure out where we can put each stage so I can have those ready to go in my mind. I'm going to write down some notes so that we can set up the stages faster for the next batch. I seriously spent about 45 minutes setting up targets. I pretty much set up 3 of the stages in the January Course of Fire and the corresponding steel. I didn't set up the paper targets or the KYL because I already know pretty much where we're going to stage those. But I needed to stage 3 of the stages in the Course of Fire have each use a 100-yard target. So I set those out along, and while I was out there setting them up, I said I might as well set up the other corresponding steel targets for those individual stages. So for the tank trap, let me grab my clipboard real quick. So the tank trap, we have, you shoot off the center of the tank trap, and it's going to be a 25-yard target, 1 inch, then a 50-yard target, 1.5 inch, 75-yard target, 2.5 inches, and then your 100-yard target is a 3 inch. So it's 4 distances off the center of the tank trap. So I'm going to test to make sure we can shoot all those stages of fire from this point. Also, all those different targets from this specific point to make sure that there's no issues for the match. And then moving on, I'm going to have like the barrel stage like a little bit over, and that's just a single 100-yard target. So I'll just verify that we can see that from the lowest prop, because you'll shoot off a 55-gallon barrel, the 5-gallon bucket, and then the 2-gallon bucket. But since the 2-gallon bucket's the shortest one, I'll test shooting that target, the 100-yard target from the 2-gallon bucket. And then there's the prone stage, which does 50, 75, and 100 yards. So I'm going to make sure that we can see all those targets from that position in the prone position. And that's kind of all I'm doing today. I just wanted to make sure that everything's good to go. And yeah, there's nothing particular about my rifle I want to check out as far as the Vudoo is concerned. Although I want to take a couple photos though of a couple little accessories that I got. So I figure I'll do that today too, while the wind is still light. It's supposed to hit about 10 miles an hour today. That's why it's a little bit colder, but I started sweating when I was moving this tank trap from the Connex container and then setting up the target. So let me load up some mags and we'll try to shoot these stages in the January Course of Fire. So one of the stages in the January 2020 Course of Fire is going to be called Ringing in the New Year. It's basically shot off the center of a tank trap.
you're not going to move from point to point. So from standing port arms, you're going to drop to the center of the tank trap and engage 4 targets at ranges of 25, 50, 75, and 100 yards. So, and if you want to, we're going to number the targets 1, 2, 3, and 4, nearest to farthest. So the first, you're going to engage target 1, then 2, 1, then 3, 1, then 4, 1, then 3, 1, and 2. That should be 10 rounds. So basically near, far, farther, near, farther, near, farthest, near, farther, near, farther, and that should be it. And I think this is going to be a testament of parallax and elevation adjustment, because you're going to need to adjust your parallax and your elevation for each target, well, at least for 75 and 100. The question is, do you want to take the time to adjust your elevation? You'll need to adjust the parallax for sure, but since you're not moving from point to point, you should have plenty of time to adjust the knobs. It's just making sure you adjust the knobs correctly. So I'm just going to go ahead and start this stage from position. Is it 10 round in there? Yes, 10 rounds. Since I'm just trying to verify that we can actually see all the targets from this position, the way I have it laid out on the range facility here. I have my GoPro mounted on the side here. I may have to take it off for this stage because it's going to start bumping the tank trap. All right, so assume time is called. I got down in position. I'm going to gauge the 25. And then I'm going to go to the 50. So I should adjust my parallax, and my 0 should be the same for 50. Even I'm 0 for 50, but 25 yard and 50 0 are pretty much the same. Then I'm going to gauge the 50 again. I didn't adjust parallax that time. So I'm going to go up to 75, and my 75 should be 0.8. I'm using SK long range match right now because I don't want to burn through my center X. Then I'm going to come back down to 50, or sorry, 25. So you got to find the target. Then we're going to go to 100, which should be 1.8. Find my target there. Come back down to 50, or sorry, 25. Keep thinking 50, because that's usually the shortest I shoot with a 22. We're gonna go back to 75, which should be 0.8. Adjust my parallax. Then we go back down to 25. Then we'll go back to 50. And it should be a pretty easy stage to shoot. Very minimal movement. The way I have this laid out, and assuming I put the targets in the same way, you should be pretty much moving up to down, with a little bit of left to right movement, depending on how well I line up the targets. That was 10 rounds, right? Yeah, it's 10 rounds. So yeah, that's pretty easy course of fire, and I think I can lay out the tank trap stage on this point of the range, the 22 rimfire range for the match next month. Another course of fire in the January 2020 NRL22 Course of Fire is going to be something named One More Decade Down. It involves a 55-gallon drum, a 5-gallon bucket, and a 2-gallon bucket, which I have here, the 2-gallon bucket. And basically shooting off of all three items at a single 100-yard target, 4 inches in diameter. So I'm not going to shoot. I didn't bother to bring the 55-gallon barrel over here and then the 5-gallon bucket. But my goal here is to make sure that you can still see the 100-yard target from this position. So this is going to be the lowest position of this course, of the stage in the course of fire. So I just want to make sure that we can actually see it. And if I don't kneel on anything here. So this is an interesting position though, because there's a couple ways you can actually do this. The way I'm reading this, I don't think you don't have to actually rest. You can use your bipod in this stage. It doesn't say you can't. So you could probably do one of two things. If your bipod is good enough, on this, depending on this 2-gallon bucket is, you can probably try to make use of it somehow. I can just barely hit it with the Atlas, and you can kind of back up and then use this as a rest. Possible, but most people probably don't have the body type to actually get this low. So what you'll probably end up doing is just taking a prone position, I'm guessing. You can either lay this down, which is not going to be all that stable. Oh, crap. That's what you got to be aware of during the match. You won't be able to go forward of the line, but for the sake of that, we'll probably leave the lid off. Probably be safer. I'll try to glue it on. Probably leave the lid off for safety purposes because I don't have to worry about it. So shoot it with the upside down bucket. Probably just go ahead and bag up. Got so much crap here. You can probably go into a prone position. Yeah, you can hit prone position from here. Shouldn't be too big a deal. And we can see the target from here, so not much to debate here as far as placement of this stage. Only a single 400-yard target, so this is a pretty easy stage to set up in correspondence with the rest of the range. I'm gonna go ahead and just shoot some rounds here. If I should take my empty chamber indicator out here, and I need to put it in the bag, of course. So theoretically, if you were so inclined, you could also simply just rest your gun on the bucket using your bipod or whatever as a quasi rest, and you can just use this bag for support. You want to stack the bag, whatever, makes it a little more stable. Let me make sure that we're in a legal position here. Yeah, actually no, it says you have to hit prone from this position. No, sorry, I'm reading those stages wrong. No, this is the right stage. Okay, yeah, you don't have to hit, there's no specific position here, so it's however you can shoot off the bucket. So you can do prone, some quasi kneeling or crouching or sitting if you can, but. So I think this stage of fire is pretty simple. It's just moving from the 55-gallon to the 5-gallon to the 2-gallon. And picking the appropriate position for it. I'm thinking I might actually shoot the stage like this, using my bipod as a rest. Technically, this plate is actually hitting the bottom of this bucket, so I may have to take it off or move it forward. So to make sure it's not being used as a rest and DQ myself from the match. Okay, so we're good here. So I'm thinking I need to take notes and mark off these points. I'm actually, yeah, they have numbers here. So they have numbers on the concrete here. I'll write these down so I know where we're going to stage each stage in the course of fire, or place each stage in the course of fire for next month. Then we'll move on to the prone, because that's probably the most important part. Prone off bipod, see if we can see those targets at 100 yards. Another stage in the course of fire for January 2020 is called Hindsight is 2020. We got 4 targets, 3 distances. 1.5 inch at 50, 2 inch at 75, then 2.5 and a 3 inch at 100. The key thing is all shot from the support side, which means your opposite eye and hand. So if you're right-handed, you're going to shoot left. And if you're left-handed, you'll shoot right. And you're going to shoot all these targets from that support side from prone position. You're going to start standing in port arms, mag in, action open, drop into position on signal to start. So you're going to engage the 1.5, you're going to go 50 with one shot, 75 with two shots, the 2.5 is at 100 with three shots, and the 3-inch target at 100 yards with four shots. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Pretty simple, but for the sake of testing the visibility of these targets, I'm going to go ahead and shoot it with the standard, my standard right-handed shooting position, and then I'll try the I'll try shooting support side because I need to check my diopter for my left eye anyway. I need to grab my bag. Oh, sorry. This morning I went ahead and put my name on this bag because of all the things I put my name on, I put my name on everything. I didn't put my name on my Game Changer, which is a problem because everybody and the grandmother has a Game Changer pint size and a Game Changer regular size. So I had to make sure to put my name on this one so I don't lose track of it. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and shoot, make sure we can see. Sorry, I probably put this on the clipboard. Make sure we got it all correct here. So I can find the 50. And since for those who are coming to shoot next month's match at West End Gun Club, the NRL22, here's a tip for you. 100 yards, it's elevated, it's at an incline. So even though you're starting at 50 and going to 100 at the end, I recommend you put your bipod at the highest setting so you don't have to readjust your bipod for the target, the last shots in the stage. It's going to feel awkward, but you'll just have to orient your bag in a taller manner so you can shoot the short distance 50-yard target. That's just the way this range facility is. Not all ranges are perfect. Not all shooting situations are perfect, so it's a good idea to learn how to adapt. But here's a little tip for you. Run your bipod at the highest setting for this stage in the Course of Fire. Probably come down to my elevation here. So we're going to shoot the 50 with one shot. Then we shoot the 75 with two shots. Where did I put the 75? Okay, so it's to the right. This could be a problem for some people if they can't manipulate the gun with their support side very easily. Okay, so I may have to line up the target a little bit differently for 75 on this stage. All right, we'll see. Still visible. Parallax. The two shots here. Oh, and I missed. Probably because you need to adjust, moron. All right, 0.8. Hit. Then we're going to go to 100. Which is 1.8 parallax. All right, so we're gonna do 3 and 4. Whoa, that curved. Pull left. Wow, the wind's not even blowing. Huh, interesting. Okay. Wow, I'm holding left by, I would say, 0.4 of a mil. Did I have 10 rounds loaded for that? That was weird. Felt like 9. Anyway. Okay, let's just shoot that again, but from the support side, the actual Course of Fire. So this is going to be awkward for some. I recommend running it low power or low magnification.
But you're gonna wanna get into position here, stack the bag appropriately, locate the target. All right. Get a mag in here first. It's 10 rounds, yeah, it's 10 rounds. All right. Okay, this is my problem here, is my diopter. Okay, just a diopter, perfect. Okay, then we're gonna go to 75, which is 0.8. Then we can drop the bag down, locate the 0.8. I see it. I'm gonna get 2 rounds. Okay, my rifle's canted a little bit. Then we're gonna go 100. All right, 3 rounds for the top target. I'm gonna go 1.8, parallax. And I'm holding left. I gotta hold left to target. All right. Okay. All right. That's 3 rounds. Bottom targets. I'm gonna hold left. Relatively simple. Okay. Oops. All right. All right, so I may move the 75-yard target over a little bit to make things easier for people to spot. Okay, we're good here. I'm gonna set up the KWOW between us and the bucket stage. And the KWOW is actually shot at 33 yards this month, or this upcoming month. Yeah, 33 yards. No, 33 yards for paper. So 33 yards for the KWOW, 35 for the paper. And I can fit the 33 yards right here. Okay. So I think I have the layout for the course of the stages. It's a little cramped. But we should make this work.
I posted a picture of these on Instagram a couple weeks ago. These are a pair of Vortex Viper PST HDs, or Viper HDs, whatever you want to call them. They're 10x42 binoculars. They're not very expensive, or they're not top of the line. They're about 500 bucks street price, but they're actually pretty decent. And they're a half decent budget binocular. But a friend of mine, she gave them to me as a kind of a Christmas gift type thing. I've known her for a while. But they're actually pretty good for all things considering. I was looking at getting actually a pair of Swarovskis, but I wasn't in the mood of spending $1,500. And to be honest, for what I'm going to use these for, these are actually pretty good. So I'm actually happy to have received these, and thanks goes out to her for binoculars. But I've been using these on the range for a little bit just to check wind or whatever, and it actually does spot mirage pretty well. Better, I mean, not as good as a spotting scope. Generally, I'd rather use a spotting scope to look at the waves, heat mirage and heat waves, but this actually does a decent job. I was over at work in the work parking lot a couple weeks ago using binoculars on the construction that was going on across the freeway, and I was able to spot some of the wind shifts, and I was comparing it to some of the flags that they had at the construction sites. And so, yeah, I think this will do a pretty good job for what I need to use them for. And it saves me spending some money on Swarovskis. And I did get a tripod mount for it off Amazon. It's the Vortex tripod mount. It's kind of hokey though, because you have to take out this thread protector here and then you can screw it in. But once you get it on, it's hard to put it back in the carrying case. You can't really do it, so I just leave it off. And I'm not entirely sure if I'll ever use the tripod mount. I might just find one of those tripod mounts you find that actually just uses elastic to hold it on, like just a plate. I think that's a little bit better than keeping that tripod mount secured to here, because it basically is this long mount that sits right here and it just sticks out in the bottom. It's stable, but at the same time, it's not field expedient. So I'm probably not going to use it. If anything, I should return it. But yeah, these are pretty decent. And it's good for spotting hits at short range, because you often need to have spotting scopes on the firing line, amazing enough for a short range or a fire match, just so to make sure that you see that very small impact. Because a lot of times people actually nick the plate, and you'll see the impact veer off. Usually that's a good indicator that they actually hit the plate. If they hit, 2 yards off target, or if you see the splash 2 yards away from the target, usually that's a good indicator that they probably nicked the target. So it's good to have a spotting scope watching when you have the spotters during the when a shooter's running a course of fire or the stage of fire, to watch the target very closely, because that is technically a hit. So anyway, these are the Vortex Viper PSC Gen, I want to say Gen 2s, but they're just the Viper HDs, binoculars, 10x42. Pretty lightweight, I guess, all things considering. When I was shopping for binoculars, I was looking at 10x50s, but I think those are just too big for throwing in a bag, small backpack or something. I think these are a lot better for just field use, especially range use. So, anyway, I might post a little blurb on this on my blog. It might be a little review. I'm not an optics expert, but I like to write. I'll write a little bit of my thoughts and opinions of this binocular, because I know a lot of people are looking at binoculars, and I'm already a couple things I don't like about it, considering such as these caps, kind of hokey how they go on. I'd honestly rather they be threaded or just like individual caps to just take on and off, and I might actually just kind of want to leave them off, but you need to protect the front elements. So anyway, that's that. I'm gonna fire off a few more rounds here before I pack up and leave. I need to take a few notes during the downtime here, and make sure that I remember where we're gonna place these targets for next month. But I figure I'll shoot some support side shots just to kind of get used to the diopter, because I need to adjust my left eye. Focus is a little different than my right for various reasons, but it appears that for the diopter I need to come over left a little bit. Ideally I think it's about, yay much. I put a little gold dot on here to on the scope. Sorry, the scope ring cover, so I can remember roughly where I need to place my diopter for my left eye. But this is about the sweet spot right here. Anyway, and just to show off this dope card holder that I have, it's from Blam Industries. I decided to get one because I typically just try to remember what I need to shoot in my head, as far as what my dope is for this targets on a stage of fire. But sometimes it slips your mind and you're constantly looking at something you wrote down. So I figure I'll try this out. It's cool for what it does. I mean, it's kind of pricey if you ask me, but I don't know, it's like 35 bucks, 30 bucks. Basically, you just need to figure out a way to how to hold a plastic card to the side of your gun in such that you can rewrite on the card. So this is just basically a piece of, I think it's plastic hard vinyl, and you just write on it with black China marker. But this thing is kind of the key. Hooks up on pick rail, just a single pick mount. I think it's 3D printed because it's plastic, and this little arm is kind of flexible, so it won't break. If you were to hit this against something, it should just bend. So that's kind of the good thing, something not as rigid, like metal or even hard plastic. So I think this works well for what it is. I might decide to go get the one that mounts to the scope ring, because they have one that clamps, and I think that one's a little easier to get on and off, because right now it's kind of a pain to get this off again and back on, because you have to go find a little small hex wrench, Allen wrench, and then
try to finagle it on here underneath the scope bell. And this, the way I have this Collis K525i mounted, this is the only spot on the rail where I can mount this device because I have no clearance anywhere else. So, but I don't know, it works. I'm okay with it. Could it be better? I don't know, maybe. But oh crap, I have my I have the tripod leg next to my arm here. Let's see if we can start trying to shoot this stage of fire. So I need to come down to 50. Let's shoot 8x here. Locate the target. Close bolt. Target, target, target. Parallax is on. Hit, but I'm hitting left. So I need to hold a little bit left. So one target, we're going to go to 75. Find the target here. Where is it? Where did I put that 75-yard target? Where did I put the 75-yard target? There it is. All right. And I'm hitting the tripod. Whatever, I'm gonna have to gap this out a little bit. Come up 0.8. Just parallax. Give me a little mag. Two shots. Yard target. 1.8. Parallax. Hold. And my target fell over. Yay. That dirt was soft over there, so it makes sense. I got another 100-yard target I can practice on here. So we're holding 2/10. And that target's about to fall over too.
It's almost 10:30, packed up, I'm about to get out of the range. On the way out, I'm gonna pick up some forms from the range officer's office that I need for future matches, just to have copies ready to go. Didn't do much shooting today, but again, all I was here really to do was to confirm placement of the stages and the targets for next month's match now that the January 2020 NRL22 Course of Fire is published. So check that out if you plan on shooting my match or our match or any other NRL22 match in the region next month. So you might want to familiarize yourself with the Course of Fire. But it looks like we should be able to, I have the stages and where to place them pretty much ironed out. And yeah, we should be good to go come next month. It's going to be the weekend after SHOT Show, our match, but I'll be back in town after that. So SHOT Show, then NRL22 match the following Sunday. So that's kind of it for today. Not definitely, but I'm almost positive I'm not shooting anymore for the rest of the year. The weather is going to prevent me from actually going to Desert Marksman Range to shoot some longer range 22, which is what I wanted to do during the holiday break. Unfortunately, they're going to shut down the range most likely because of the roads. If you look on the website, they probably said the road is still closed, so it's unfortunate. As far as the rest of the vacation, I just got a bunch of other errands to do, some kind of quasi projects I'm working on, and I'm going to swap out the stereo on the Jeep. It's got the stock 130N stereo, which is just your basic CD player, satellite radio type deal, but I'm going to replace it with a Kenwood that I picked up. It's actually lower cost. I was going to get the Alpine 7-inch kit
it was $1,000, but I was reading so many things on the Wrangler forum about people having so many issues with the Alpine units, about reflashing firmware and all this crap, and I said forget it, right? And everyone who says they got a Kenwood said they had no problems. So I just need something that does CarPlay, Apple CarPlay. That's all I really care about. And yeah, so I'm going to replace that today. It should only take me a few hours. It should be a pretty simple setup because of the harnesses, the bracket, and it should all make it pretty much cut and dry. There's no trimming or anything needed to do for the dash. And taking out the dash, I think it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think 5 bolts total, and then maybe 6 if you want. If I need to take out the panel for the temperature control or the climate control system. But I should be able to do that today. I need to stop by Best Buy actually to pick up a cable so I can adapt the factory Sirius antenna, so I don't have to use the aftermarket antenna. I can just keep the factory antenna to use it out with the XM unit. So that'll do that today, and that's kind of it going on as far as the rest of the year that I can mention on camera. So just some family stuff I don't need to mention, but family stuff, some projects I'm working on. So yeah, that's kind of it. So I'd like to thank everyone for watching the vlogs. I know the range vlog, when I first started it a couple years ago, I had no idea what I really wanted to do with this, but it was mainly for me to document my shooting and like what I do for myself, because I go to the range sometimes and I just fire off rounds and I just don't even know why I came out to the range, just mainly to mess around. And that's cool, right? It's nice to just be able to go to the range and pop some rounds off, and that's kind of your venting or your relaxation, right? But at the same time, I like to come to the range and be productive. So sometimes, it'd be nice to like look back and say, hey, okay, what did I do that day? You can keep a journal, but I like the vlog just to kind of keep track of myself, and I go back and watch the stuff that I did, say, okay, yeah, that's what I was doing. So that sort of thing. So I'd like to thank everyone who actually watches this regularly, for just kind of following along, and hopefully you're getting some enjoyment out of it, or some like actual knowledge out of these range vlogs. And I don't know, I'm trying to think of other ways that I'm going to restyle the vlog in the future, but I'm kind of sort of stuck in this formula. And maybe I'll break out of it and try something new, but for the near future, I'll continue what I'm doing, and hopefully everyone else can actually benefit from some of the stuff that I produce. So anyway, thanks for the 2019, and thanks for watching this vlog. Thanks for watching my previous vlogs, and I hope to see you in 2020. Thanks for watching. Happy New Year.